A lady's gone viral on TikTok. She had her fiancé sign a no cheating document. And here she is explaining how it works.
I have just reached a new level of crazy because I just made, well, not made, I did not make, he did it out of his own free will. My fiancé, because we just got engaged, just signed a legal document and we got it notarized that if he cheats on me, he has to pay my bills. We did. What? And actually got it notarized, like legal AF, that if he cheats on me, he's screwed. I'm so smart or crazy, I don't know.
Maybe both. But yes, and apparently he has to pay her bills for the rest of her life.
I don't know if that could hold up.
I don't know. They're not married, but it's a legal document.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if that's going to hold up forever like that.
Imagine if it did. Well, that'd be a good way to. I mean, you shouldn't cheat anyway, but that's a good way to like not cheat. Or you might have to pay someone's bills for the rest of your life,
or take the extra measures not to get caught.
and is that new bills? Like if I was her and who was paying everything, you could all of a sudden start getting more bills.
Yeah. What bills are they and how much?
Just keep opening credit cards. Here's a new bill. Open another credit card. Here's another bill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She get a mortgage one day. Is he paying that? That's a bill, right? So, we do have our official attorney.
Good.
Lisa Lanier, because we're not sure if it's going to hold up. It's making a lot of people nervous. Good morning, Lisa.
Hey, good morning. So it sounds like she's sort of trying to do a limited prenuptial agreement. And, she's sort of going about it in an odd way. She's only making it about cheating, but there is a very common cheating or infidelity clause that you see in prenuptial agreements that provides an extra consequence if there's cheating. The bills for life is probably taking it a little bit too far. Usually a prenuptial agreement, the terms have to be reasonable, and there's usually a disclosure of debts and assets so that he would know what he's taking on, and she couldn't, like you said, just start opening new credit cards and things like that in the future. So her idea is sound. You can do this. I don't know that she's done it in a way that's going to stand up, because usually you need to get an attorney to draft these sorts of things because it's very easy to mess it up, and you've got the wedding has to be conditioned on these promises because marriage is still considered a contract in the United States. And so it is okay to have these prenuptial agreements and for them to contain, a division of assets, or alimony can be addressed. Child custody cannot be addressed, and the terms have to be reasonable. And so I don't know if she's probably not able to. I mean, most lay people aren't able to draft one that's going to hold up, but it's a she kind of gets an A for effort there.
Yeah, but what if it was drafted up by an attorney and the terms were not reasonable, even if you had the contract and it was done by an attorney? Would the judge at some point say this is not reasonable and say it's not valid, or would he reduce the terms, or how would that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend on the jurisdiction and which how unreasonable or what the term was, but usually. If a term is invalid, it can just be thrown out. The judge can decide to just throw it out. But oftentimes, what would happen, especially when it comes to like setting alimony or something like that, is if there was a prenuptial in place, even though it wasn't maybe necessarily well drafted, I think a judge would still take it into account. The interesting thing is that the judge can, if it's invalid, completely toss it out and say, hey, like there's no alimony or something of that nature, but that's uncommon, and usually these things settle. They don't usually make it to a judge.
Right.
So if there was a term like that was really onerous, then the spouse who benefits from that might reduce that amount a little bit to make it more reasonable, so it doesn't go to a judge.
Right.
Okay. Now, what about let's say they're they're engaged. Let's say they never get married, but they just stay engaged for years and years and years. Let's take the engagement out. Let's say you're just dating somebody. And you're like, you don't believe in marriage, but you're like, I want to sign this contract. Would that hold up at all?
No, because the exchange is that you have to have the exchange. You have to have a bargain for exchange of something. And in the marriage, it's the marriage. You're getting the marriage in exchange for these promises. But if you never get married, then you don't have that. You don't have those essential elements of the contract. So you can't just have somebody sign a promise. A unilateral promise, hey, I won't cheat on you, is just a promise, and it's not legally enforceable.
Okay, because I'm sure there's a lot of men and women out there like, I'm taking them down today to get notarized. They're just dating. If you cheat on me, you're paying my bills. Okay.
Right, no, it's not going to hold up.
So A for effort, unlikely to hold up 100%.
Exactly.
No wonder why he signed it.
Yeah, he's like, sure. And I'm sure he wasn't excited to sign it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, because she even said, I reached a whole new level of crazy. So she's pushing it on him. And he's like, oh, yeah, I love you, of course. Why wouldn't I sign it? Because if you didn't sign it, then it kind of makes you look bad.
Yeah, but it makes her look bad that she doesn't trust him enough in the first place.
Yeah.
When they're not even married yet.
I have a question. What's the point of getting something notarized if the judge can just shoot it down when he looks at it?
A notary just is proving that it was you that signed it.
Yeah, notary doesn't have anything to do with the legality of a document. The notary is just, you can ask a notary, hey, notarize my signature. That's just saying this person stood before me and signed this document. That's all that's good for.
Okay.
So it's not like you can say, oh, I didn't sign it when, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Keeps me from endorsing the back of Jason's checks.
Yeah. That's right. So, like, if someone were going through a divorce and they had it notarized, like an agreement notarized, that does it mean anything, or it does?
It just means it was the person that signed it.
Yeah.
You still have to have the essential elements of the prenuptial agreement, and usually, disclosure of assets and division of assets and addressing alimony and that sort of thing.
So basically the notary is basically, so let's say, for instance, you're married and the wife said, oh, I never signed that. And then there's a signature. That's not my signature. Well, and the judge will say, well, it was notarized. And when you go to a notary, they have an ID, and you have to prove that it was you. So you could argue, she couldn't argue that it wasn't her that signed it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what you're saying.
And it creates a credible legal witness to attest to your signature. So it proves that you signed it. So you can actually call the notary to give testimony, and that's how, people prove if somebody's trying to deny they signed something. You prove, hey, bring the notary. Yes, this person appeared before me on this day.
I got you. Well, she's awesome as always. Thank you so much. Official attorney of Jared and Katie in the Morning, Lisa Lanier. If you're ever injured on the job, contact her right away at hireaheavyweight.com. She's one of the top 100 attorneys in the entire country, which to me is just crazy. It's amazing.